So we just had a, a power outage at my house, and it actually looks like lights are out. Power's out for lots of the intersections too. Let's see how FSD does without traffic lights. Should be interesting. Troy, Michigan power outage.
On to go ahead to order whenever you're ready.
Hi, I just have a pickup order for Russ.
For who?
Russ?
Russ?
Yep. Russell.
Hello, please.
All right.
way through it, as we all are.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you did a phenomenal job handling that breaking news tonight and all these things that are developing while you are on the air talking about them. Well done, my friend. An honor to be your colleague always.
Honor to
but
be yours,
particularly tonight.
always.
Thank you. All right. Thanks to you at home as well for joining us this hour. There is a lot going on, and just about everything that's going on that we have set to talk about tonight are stories that are continuing to develop. And so I can usually at this point in the show tell you about what's going to be coming up. I can't tell you about what's going to be coming up because all the stories that we're covering are live and happening as we speak. We do have major developments out of Washington and particularly out of the Justice Department. Major developments even for all of the news that has come out of Washington over these past 2 weeks. What's happening tonight at the FBI and the Justice Department is almost a bigger deal than anything else that have happened. We're going to get right to that. We have a number of guests, a senator, somebody directly affected by those events, all standing by. We are at first, though, going to start with the breaking news that we've been following out of Philadelphia. The country is tonight, unbelievably, witnessing its second horrific plane crash in just the past 3 days. Tonight, it is a small plane, a Learjet, that has crashed in northeast Philadelphia. It sent up a fireball in a densely populated neighborhood that includes both homes and also a shopping center. I'm going to show you some footage here of the crash. What you're about to see here is footage from a Ring camera security system that did capture the moment of the crash. This plane, this Learjet, had just departed from northeast Philadelphia Airport. It's not the main airport in Philly, but a small airport. It was en route to Springfield Branson Airport in Missouri. This is around 6:30 p.m. Local time, 6:30 p.m. Eastern time. The crash site is near the Roosevelt Mall in northeast Philly. But again, homes there, cars there. This is a densely populated part of a big U.S. city. First responders very quickly reached the scene. They found fires burning, several homes and cars on fire because of the impact and the debris. Local officials, including the mayor of Philadelphia and Pennsylvania's Governor Josh Shapiro, are in contact. They are helping coordinate the response. We may be hearing from Governor Shapiro in just a moment as local officials continue to brief on the scene. We had very quickly initial reports that said this plane was on some sort of medical assignment when it took off. That is confirmed now. Just before we got on the air tonight, we got this statement from Jet Rescue Air Ambulance. Quote, today, Jet Rescue Air Ambulance experienced a crash. The aircraft, XA-UCI, Learjet 55, crashed after takeoff from Philadelphia. There were 4 crew members and 2 passengers, a pediatric patient and escort on board. So 4 crew, 2 passengers. One of the passengers is a pediatric patient. This was an air ambulance flight. The air ambulance company said no further information is available at this time. At this time, we can't confirm the survivors. No names are being released until family members have been notified. Our immediate concern is for the patient's family, our personnel, their families, and other victims that may have been hurt on the ground. More information will be released as it becomes available. Again, that from the air ambulance company that was operating this flight. A representative for Jet Rescue Air Ambulance tells one of our producers tonight that the pediatric patient on board was a female minor, so a girl, a citizen of Mexico, who had completed treatment and was on her way back home. Again, the 6 people on board that flight believed to be that pediatric patient, an escort with that patient, and 4 crew members. In just the past half hour, Philadelphia's Mayor Sherelle Parker gave the press an update and spoke directly to Philadelphia residents in the region of the crash, asking people not to come to the area and also asking residents who live nearby to not touch debris and to avoid the immediate area of the crash site as the response continues tonight.
We're urging you to please stay away from the scene. If you see debris, call 911. Don't touch anything. This is still an active scene under investigation.
Philadelphia's mayor speaking just moments ago. Joining us now from the scene of the crash is reporter Lauren Make from Philadelphia. So it's good to see you, Lauren. I really appreciate you joining us as the story continues to develop. Can you just describe to us the latest from the scene? What's the latest update on your reporting?
fatalities, and also delivering that message to people here in Philadelphia to not touch any debris and to stay away from this area. That is difficult for people who live in this area. We've seen a number of people trying to get back to their homes. And let me describe to you where we are. We're a couple of miles from Northeast Philadelphia Airport, that smaller airport that you were just describing. And this is an area where there is a very busy highway. It is 6 lanes on either side, so 12 lanes altogether. And it goes through an area that is both residential and commercial. You've got the mall here and businesses. You've got people who might be going to McDonald's on Friday night and going to other restaurants or other places in strip malls here. And then you've got a very large residential area, homes here. We turned down a small street and we saw people streaming towards us, dozens of people coming towards us as police were trying to push them out of the area. And as we looked beyond them and above them, we could see smoke coming from the homes there on that street. Police were literally blocking that street off as we were backing up. This is an area that is really busy, and so it's been a chaotic scene tonight and very congested, difficult to get around here, difficult for medical personnel and for first responders, as well as just people who live in this area in Northeast Philadelphia, as everyone tries to get a handle on what has been happening here. I did also just talk a few minutes ago to a colleague of mine who spoke to a witness here
Thank you.
in the area who described seeing debris coming towards him as if there was some sort of explosion. We don't have a lot of information about exactly how to describe that at this point, but that debris was being pushed towards him. He went inside, closed the door to try to get away from it and stay safe. So that's the kind of thing that we are hearing here on the scene tonight. Rachel, I'll toss it back to you.
Lauren, thank you very much. I know we've got a delay, and I'm not supposed to ask you follow-up questions, but I have to. The perimeter of the that is closed off. What you know about the density of the neighborhood? Do you have any estimate at all, any ballpark sense that you can give our viewers as to how many buildings on the ground may be affected? How large the area of that neighborhood in Northeast Philly is that may have been affected by this crash and by the attendant debris?
Not in anything specific, Rachel, but I can tell you that we have been just trying to get where we are now, 2 different areas, and we have seen them affected. We were over near the mall. We saw that area blocked off. We saw fire personnel, medical personnel, police officers in that area over near the mall on the Macy's side, and that area was all blocked off. I described to you what we saw in that residential neighborhood, and as we looked down that small street, the smoke that we were seeing was not right next to where we were. It was a block or so, or perhaps more than that, down there. Behind where I am right now, there has been smoke burning. I'll just take a quick check. It looks like it is definitely lower and has come down, died down a bit from when we got here. There is smoke over in that area. I can tell you over to my left, we were over in a staging area over there before we came here, and there was smoke on the other side coming from that area a block or so down. So we don't know exactly how big this area is. That is one of the things that we're all trying to get a handle on. Certainly law enforcement, first responders, a lot of them out here looking in various parts of this section of the city.
Well, Lauren Make from our Philadelphia station, WCAU. Lauren, thank you very much. It's invaluable to have you there on the scene for us. I really appreciate it. Bringing now into the conversation our own Ali Velshi, in addition to being a host of his show, Velshi on MSNBC, is also an experienced pilot who's flown in and out of Northeast Philadelphia Airport many times. Ali, my friend, I know you were on assignment in about 10 different directions tonight. Thank you for joining us on short notice to help cover this. Tell me about the airport itself. This is not an airport that most people who have flown in and out of Philly will have ever seen. People who fly small planes, private planes, medevac and air ambulance planes will have used this airport. But what should people understand about it if haven't been there themselves?
Yeah, there are some commercial planes that go in and out of there, but between Trenton and Philadelphia, it's the biggest airport. It's about 60 miles from Philadelphia International Airport. But if you're not a commercial jetliner, like an American Airlines plane or a Delta plane, if you're a medevac plane, for instance, PNE, Philadelphia Northeast Airport, is the place you would fly out of. It's akin to Chicago Midway. It's in a very populated area, and what you saw in that image that was caught on the ring cam is that clearly that was not a controlled descent. What a lot of people don't think about when they fly is the most dangerous part of flying is taking off and landing for the pilot. It consumes the most of their attention. There are the greatest number of things to do. So when you are taking off, if there's a danger to your plane, something goes wrong, your primary objective is threefold. One is you try and find the place you can land safely that avoids houses, avoids trees, try and land as safely as you can. Number two is you turn off your engines, you turn off your fuel so that a fire doesn't start. Now the problem is this is a Learjet with a range of 2,500 miles. The airport it was headed to was 1,000 miles away, so it was probably about half full of fuel, but it's a lot of fuel. To fly 1,000 miles is a lot of fuel, so that's what you're seeing. Whether or not that pilot was able to turn off the fuel pumps and the fuel supply may not matter when it's that sort of crash. The way you saw that plane go down means that pilot was not in a position to try and land that plane. They're obviously always trying to look for a runway, then you're trying to look for an open field, then you're trying to make sure in that open field there are wires and flotsam and jetsam and trees. You definitely always want to avoid houses. We see that there was at least one house on fire there. These are row houses, which is typical of that area. They're very, very close together. The Philadelphia Northeast Airport has a control tower. It's actually why I've flown there so many times, because as I was doing my pilot training, I needed to be at an airport that had a control tower that wasn't as busy as Philadelphia. But it's in the Philadelphia airspace, which means flights that are going any distance in and out still fall under Philadelphia's air traffic control, even though there's a control tower there. So hopefully this plane doesn't have a black box on it, but they're hopefully, by the way, when your plane is out of control, you communicate first. You tell them, you tell the tower what the problem is. There are various codes you can use. You can say Mayday. They will ask you what the problem is, and you always get priority as a plane that has an emergency. You get priority over everybody and everything. You don't have to follow air traffic control rules. You don't have to follow anything you've learned. You don't have to listen to anybody else. Your goal at that point is to try and land your plane safely. This does look like a plane that in aviation parlance lost lift. In other words, it was not flying. That plane crashed in. It was not a controlled landing. We don't know, and we won't know for some time. We will get to the bottom of it. That's the good thing about America, Rachel, is that the NTSB and the FAA do study these things. They will learn what happened, and if it's something that's avoidable, they will put out a directive. If it's something to do with the plane, which is less likely because the Learjet is a relatively new plane. It's been around since about 2000, in the late 90s. It's a relatively new plane. They're in good shape. They've got a good safety record. They're often used as medevac planes. They're also used as luxury planes, but in this case, it's a medevac plane. As you know, 6 people on board, 4 were crew, 1 was a patient. Philadelphia is known as a hospital city. What we do know is this was not a patient at CHOP, which is the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia, which is the primary children's hospital. But if you have serious illnesses and you're a pediatric patient or you're young, Philadelphia is a major center for treatment. So all we know right now is this was a young woman, a girl, who had completed her treatment, was headed home, in theory, via Missouri. I think the ultimate destination was Mexico. The company that runs this medevac service is actually well known for providing service to people who are coming or going from South America, the Caribbean, or Mexico for medical treatment in the United States. So that's what we know at the moment.
Hallie, let me just ask you one other thing.
With these lights being out, and it completely blew through that one light, but this one it actually is stopping for. And it looks okay, so it's going. This light is out, and I'm gonna be really cautious here. So it's interesting, it sees the lights and it knows that they're out on the display up here. Again, all of these lights are out in all 4 directions. But I will say it dealt with that fairly fairly safely, other than blatantly running the first one, which was pretty obvious. There was no traffic to worry about. That's why I let it run it. But technically, it should have stopped and treated it as a stop and go. Back into the neighborhood with no power. I'm just going to take over so I can go explore a little bit and see if I can figure out what's going on. Full self-drive with no traffic lights. she does on some pretty slippery roads right now. Yes, slow down, please. Yeah, we're still in the dark here. Should have power in the next couple of hours, so I might be hanging out watching TV in the Tesla. We'll go and get Joy and Jethro and bring them out here. We'll hang out and watch TV in the car instead of on the couch.